Welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. Really busy a week at the moment, and I'm hoping that you're going to all be able to hear this loud and clear. We are literally just jamming in. It's going to be a Control Alt Delete moment indeed. You're not wrong, Neil. Neil, our red beacon from Gritty, is with us this week. We're into our countdown. So what we're going to do, we're going to get our riders away, then we'll show you where we're out and heading. We'll let them get themselves all sorted. They're down on our grid at the moment, and we're just heading into our countdown. And that means that the riders up and away, and we're going to follow them on as they head out at the moment. We're just riding in with Andy Hawes. So just in with Horsey, and he's up and away on his way out with the rest of the gang. Just keeping a check on these riders at the moment. So as the riders make the way out from the run in from those pens, we are just up in with the cameras up above. Let's run you on a whistle-stop tour where we are heading tonight. We're here, of course, on Gritty week number 2, ride number 1. Our route, well, we are going to be heading out with Russell leading everybody out on to Wandering Flats. We come out along the lower levels at the moment and start to make our way out and through. We go into Neokio. We come from Neokio back through the tunnels and then head back in towards the main section of the climb up to the village. We drop down a little bit round through those pens. So key tonight, 105 riders, really key to make sure that you stay in. We're going to do 2 laps of 25.1k, a finish at 50.3 at the virtual arch at the Olsen village, and looks like everybody is out. Let's just take a little bit of a check across. Now, Neil is our red beacon, or Neil from Gritty, controlling all of the back of the pack, and if we jump in with Neil, I think we're going to be able to go from Neil's picture of him in a thick muddy pit out to Neil on the ride making his way out. He's got Tom Crapper just behind him, about 1 second back. Here they go. So these are our last riders out on the course. You can't think about our full speed events logo, but back up and rolling, and the gang up and away. And as you can see, Tom Crupper just making his way through. Neil at the back here, going to be chasing back on. The lead group already starting to drop its way down. If we take a little bit of a zoom in on our map, you can just see just spread out coming out. And Neil just coming past Tom Hager, going to pick up Hager at the moment. And going to try and get themselves back into that pack. Let's get it all nice and tight. Now, whilst they get themselves back in together again, don't forget, of course, Neil, our red beacon, will be here from Gritty all the way through. And Tom Lindley, just asking if I can sing him happy birthday. You ain't got a chance, mate. Not my type. Next up, going to be a quick run round our profile. So don't forget, we have got to say a massive thank you to the team who bring us our profiles. We start off at the top left-hand corner. We go basically dropping down along that baseline. We then complete what is the lower section, all the way along the lower section to the far right-hand side of your screen. Then we go back up over the first loop, then back up quite literally over that second loop, up into the village and back down again. So not necessarily particularly flat as you come running in. A quick reminder, guys, it is going to be on its way through. Tom Lindley, yeah, you would not love to hear me sing, believe me. It's been known to clear rooms at speed. It's used as a crowd clearance technique at events sometimes. So our riders out on the course and making their way through. Happy birthday, though, Tom. Young Tom Lindley is no longer young. He's officially not young. He's never going to be young again. He just wishes he was. So here we go. We're just watching Simon run it. It is indeed very, very split up at the back. I know Russ going to be watching this. It's 20 seconds, 7 seconds here. We've got Neil out at the back. We've got a few people just jumping in to try and get in. Just making the way up and through. You can see at the moment, though, Neil is patrolling, and he's not the back of this group by any stretch of the imagination. Now, Hager needs to push here to get himself back into that pack here on Gritty Week. And don't forget, of course, members of the DCG gang with a fantastic level of support from Gritty. They get looked after by Neil, Caroline, and all of the gang in that Gritty team. As you can see, Tom Hager just started to push really hard here, just trying to get in with the group up here. Simon run it behind. Well, Simon's got a bit of a job on here to get back in. We always say if you're more than about 20 seconds back from our leading group of riders, you are not going to make it on. So if you are more than 20 seconds back from the main pack, you need to knock it off. We're going to need a big chase back here to bring these guys in. I think Finley Hudson's gone back to go give some assistance here. Finley, one of our real fast riders. We've got Forey at the moment, 13 seconds down on Finley, 50 on Neil, and 27 into the group. And with 3.5k covered for him, 3.7, it may only look like 200 meters, but we've got a big gap opening up at the end of the group. Now we're going to just have to jump back out of here sharpish and in with Simon. So Simon currently is our last rider on the course at the moment, having to do a bit of work here to get himself back in. He's spinning well, 108 revs per minute. That whole rate is going to go through the roof. Neil just getting ready to tow a few more bodies back, but I think a bit of assistance off the guys at the front is going to be really key here today. So apologies for the region. We had to quite literally do a complete reboot of the system. There is basically a update that seems to happen every Tuesday to the broadcast software, which means that we can't afford to leave it. We have to reboot it multiple times before it actually picks up all of the mics. And much as you would quite like not to hear me talking, that's probably not the best idea when we're trying to bring on our riders into the back. So 4.5k in. This group still 10 seconds from the back of the front pack to Finley Hudson. Finley just at the back with Simon Runnett working the way in here. You can see making his way in and across at the moment. And then he's got a big old chase on. We're still coming in through Mercury Islands, through the Umezi part of the Mercury Islands here on the Donny Chaingang. Don't forget, of course, Donny Chaingang coming to you Tuesday and Wednesday. And on Thursdays, Tuesday and Thursdays are open Chaingang. Wednesday is the WOW DCG, the Women Only Wednesdays Donny Chaingang. And that is got a cracking route. We are nearly all together. We've got about 3 seconds off the back to our last riders. So Hudson just about to make contact with the back of the pack. And when he does so, I think that is going to be the key indicator that he's on board. Let's have a little look. So there we go, just comes up on the back wheel of Paul Simonak. Paul Simonak now holding the back of that group. Nicely done. So good chase on there. Thank you everybody for not going too mad tonight. Jeff Booker just holding on the back. Come on, Paul. Give it a little bit of squeeze on those pedals, mate. So 110 riders on the gang and counting. The team going to be piling it on up. Yeah, Neil, we had to do a reboot. We actually made it before the start of the ride tonight, but I'm sure not everybody has gone on to the refreshed feed, but I'm sure it is going to be happening slowly but surely. So apologies to anybody who missed the initial changeover, but having to do a little bit of a chase around. So Looks like most people just about making it back in touch. Neil from Gritty is our red beacon. Neil, of course, the main technical designer at Gritty. He's also, of course, my co-host on the Crosscast. And Neil and I looking forward to our next broadcast that's going to be coming out. Don't forget, of course, you can get hold of the latest episode of the Crosscast. It is just came out not all that long ago, and you can pick it up wherever you get your podcast from. Just put in the Crosscast, the Cyclocross podcast. You'll be able to pick it up on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, on the iTunes. You name it, you can pick it up. Neil and myself with various guests. Our last guest, Ed Beachley College, really great guest to have on. Really excited about our next guest as well. That's going to be really fantastic, and looking forward to bringing that to everybody as well. This week we've got 2 of our 3 shows are going to be broadcast, and that is going to be tonight's ride. Our WOW DCG will be broadcast, but there'll be no commentary and no broadcast on Thursday, and that's quite simply because I'm going to be heading out to the UCI Trials and BMX Flatland and Park, the Urban World Championships. That's going to be coming out on the YouTube channel. It's going to be coming out on the BBC as well for some of it, going out with CBS and various broadcasters around the world. We're going to be covering the trials. Last weekend was the Indoor World Championships. If you haven't seen some of the amazing footage from that, then please, guys, do make sure you go have a little look. You can go onto the YouTube channel, and we're really going to be looking at how those feeds fare out there. I have indeed been brushing up on my vocabulary, although, as some people will know, we do a regular show for one of our main clients on a Sunday, and we do a regular esports cycling show. So saying hello and goodbye in Arabic, and specifically Emirati Arabic, is not a problem. Anything beyond that, a bit more difficult, but we'll see. And I have indeed been brushing up on my trials knowledge as well, after cramming back for the indoor and the artistic. It's my trials and BMX is back in. Fortunately, I have 2 amazing co-hosts with me for the shows out from Abu Dhabi, and that is going to be Matty Hemmings, multi-time Guinness World Record holder on Flatland, organiser of the UK Flatland Championships, and somebody who knows the difference between a time machine and a washing machine. We've also, of course, got Andre Burton, 6 times Elite Men's Trials champion, co-hosting with me for the trials part of the competition, and really looking forward to working with both of those guys. And of course, I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert in trials or in Flatland or in Park, but I must admit I've tried all of them. I know I'm rubbish at all of them, but I've tried it all. Failed miserably. My balance is just not good enough, and I certainly can't do the spins that Matty can do on the way round. So, first lap here on the Donny Chaingang, which will be coming out today and tomorrow. When we do come back from Abu Dhabi the following week, there will be no broadcast next week, and that is quite simply because we are having to make a trip, heading abroad for the week, well, for several weeks, as part of one of our next projects we've got on the Go at Full Speed events. The aim will be to be broadcasting not next week, but the week after. Also, it was backup sport to watch. I love Big Hill ski jump. Yep, definitely not. Formula One, rally driving, anything, any sport. So that's how a little Dale Williams tucked in here. Just have a little look at the players we've got on board. We've got George Cooper. They're all rolling around the back. No surprises there. So we've got tickers on board, sat in here. Matt Gilmore's back with us. That's interesting. Harry Hudson. Well, can anybody stop this man? He's been absolutely amazing. And pretty much untouchable. Harry Hudson, the man in black. Can anybody beat him this time around? We are going to see John Garfer in here as well. Good to see John's with us. We've got Mason on board the fat cyclist. We're going to have a look. Billy No Mason in here. Got Tracy Seeley, Ruben McClarty in here. Juan Van Wright in here. Mr. Moore is back with us again. Good to have you, buddy. Got Vin Donahue in here as well. Mr. Sharp, Rowan Dubash, Neil Tsuki. Looks like Dan Evans is on, as well as in from the Stelsom. We've seen Finley Hudson and Co. Just take a little bit of a roll up towards the front. Got Chris Jones back in, Rob Wimble in here, Caldwell, Mike Salkel's in. Good to see you here, Mike, once again. Bradley Atkinson in here, Mike Killingsworth again on board. So a quick reminder, guys, try and make sure you stay in close to our beacons as we make our way around. A quick reminder that we are currently making our way around the top left-hand corner, out and around that harbour side. And you can just see we are just making our way in between the river. Just about to take that turn as we come around. Got a big old loop to come back around into the section, so you can just see top right hand side that part of the map. To give you an indication when it comes to our profile, we are out on the bottom right hand corner going around that very tight loop, and from here we've got a couple of rises within the Okio, which is on the right hand side of that profile, and then in on to the big climbs as well. The group all together, and great to see that everybody trying to keep as close as they can to our yellow beacon, that is Russ. So just taking a little bit of a roll back. We're going to work our way back through this group, just see if there's anybody loitering at the back. Mr. Drabble just tucked off the back here. So it's going to get very interesting as we start to move our way in towards the section that comes back through the park. Not all that far away, to be honest, and I think it's going to be a whole big group here. Got to see Rabs back with us, Andy Hawes in here. Andy, actually, if you're not able to ride on our WOW DCG on the Women's Only Wednesdays, if you're one of the guys, then you can join Andy. Andy's doing a ride and watch event for the squadron, basically watching the WOW DCG whilst riding the squadron ride. Tom, you've got 2 full laps and you finish where you started, basically. Guess we've got Kai Davies in here now. Mr. Davies, another of our super quick riders. Good to have Kai back on board. Had the pleasure of watching Kai racing off-road regularly. Another of our regular riders at Cross, and looking good at the moment. And hopefully, I'm hoping the season's going well. Thank you to everybody who's been sending messages about missing me at Cyclocross. Much appreciated. I'll be honest, I've been missing getting cold, wet, and miserable in the van. I have been missing most of the Cyclocross family, sadly. But, you know, can't do everything, unfortunately. So, looking to fill our time in other ways, and currently filling it with a lot of World Championships. So it could be worse, let's face it. Certainly, definitely very appreciative of the opportunities and grasping them whilst we can. Now, Johnny Two Dogs, one of our key supporters. Johnny on here, one of our regular games. It's an old joke, Johnny, but a good one. So interesting to watch the chat, the gang working its way in and through. You can see this big long pack of riders. Everybody pretty much all together. Nobody's struggling at the back here. I think everybody clearly is equipped for the weather. Don't forget, of course, members of DCG Gang, we will be having a giveaway coming up about towards the end of the month. There's £250 worth of gritty goodies coming your way. 20% discount on all the gritty kit as well, except for the clearance stuff. And some new lines being added. Some bib tights just been added to the store today, I noticed, and that is great to see. It's definitely the time for it. It's got pretty cold lately, the last week or so. The temperature plummeting. So Russ just trying to get his legs back into gear. Russ, of course, down at Ruler Live. I think always dangerous things trade shows. You spend a lot of time. So final time, Russ is gonna type this. Real basics. Leading is 0.12. Laps at 35.1. Finish at 50.2. Real simple stuff, guys. Make sure you stay in with the beacon. Make sure you know where you're heading. Just got John Moore back in here as well. So John in the gang once again. Just taking a little bit of a check. I just want to have a little look where Paul Mallon is. Our screen's just showing him as not being quite where that said he was. John just tucked near the back of the group here. Looks like Rab with a little bit of a dropout. It's only a long way up, so you can see a few people with a lot less distance. There are late joiners just coming in. So Neil having a fairly quiet day at the office. I'm sure it's not going to continue onwards very much longer. But Neil is definitely just being able to just roll around at the back of the gang at the moment, not having to do much work at all. Really interesting to see. Loving the fact there are lots of chat going out. Always very much fun to see. Daisy Freer back on the gang end, and another of our super fast race. Daisy, of course, the fastest female finisher regularly on the Chaingang. We've got Tracy Seeley in here, Terminator 2.0 in the scene. I did borrow her moniker over the weekend for some of our commentary, I have to admit. John Florian, Rob Varty tucked in nice as well. Just seen Chris Idell go through. Jimmy Allen in the gang as well. Paul Coleman back here. I'll tell you something, it's just like who's who of regular riders. People who've regularly been on the game. Come on, Mr. Finch, trying to squeeze on to the back of that group. Dave Finch just having to squeeze a bit here. Don't get cast off the back of the group. You'll have a real battle to get on. Dave Finch just on the crossbite. So Finch just starting to lose the touch. Looks like just being distanced a little off the back. We're going to jump in with Mark Grant. So Mark behind, and in fact I'm seeing about 5 or 6 riders behind are leading a group. So the big pack of 115 riders, 113 riders, is really winding this out. We're going to just do a little bit of a jump back with a view that we can try and jump forwards. We're just going to let it settle itself down a bit and try and jump in with Mark at the moment. I don't think he's by any stretch of the imagination our last rider actually out on the course as we come out. So the gaps are opening. We've got Osman and Gilman. We've got Finch in here. We've got Mark Grant. So Grant and Finch working together. So Finch, I think, dropping off the pace. Mark Grant having to chase here. So very difficult for our red beacons once we start to get so many bodies in the group. So Mark having to put a bit of a sprint in here to try and get on to Neil's wheel. I think Neil's going to have a bit of a workout to pull Mark on. There are, I make it, a couple of riders behind Mark at the moment. We can't get back to them at the moment on the system. Trying to work out who they are, particularly when we've got late joiners on different distances. Makes life a little bit tricky, to put it mildly. So Neil about to wind it up with Mark Grant, just to try and give it a bit of assistance. Mark going really well at the moment. So here we go. This is our red beacon, pulling our next rider on. This is going to be Neil from the crosscast, trying to give Mark some assistance, get back on again. So a few bodies off the back. Looks like Keith Richardson going back to go give a hand. Tickers is near the back at the moment as well. Let's see who we get back on. So just going to be a little careful here, watching this group as they come back into the tunnels, head back in towards Umezi. So just going to keep our eye here as Neil just helps that group come back in. So Mark Tickle, one of our regular riders, Tickers out on the Pinarello at the moment, looking pretty smooth. The chasing pack just about to drop their next rider back in, so some great riding by the group to pull the gang in. I think Tickers just distanced off the back. We'll see if there's some messaging going backwards and forwards from Neil and Tickers. So Ticker's just trying to recover from a bad cold. That means we are going to drop. I'm just going to drop back for Rab M. So Rab has had a dropout. Rab, if you are watching and listening, sticks a message up. Rab trying to come in at about 30 seconds down. It's going to take a big ask at the moment. I think that is going to be a bit too much to ask at the moment. To get back in, we can just see Rab currently at about 23 seconds. This group just rolling around. Nobody going too mad on the front of this pack, thank goodness. It would cause carnage a bit further back if that was the case. I think Rab trying to work his way in up to the front. He's going to try and drop back to Rab, but not going to see him, I think, at the moment. He's just in no man's land. So two of our youngsters go there, Mike Gilmore and George Cooper, side by side at the back of this pack. Just looking to see if we can catch any of the rest of the riders who are further past. Let's have a little check. I think Neil and Russ at the back trying to get themselves, see who gets to the furthest part of the back of the group on the way through. It's a losing battle for us because he's always got to stay with the group. Neil can just draw up on the back. Let's see as they're coming through and see who can take this out. Just watching the back of that group at the moment with our helicopter rolling. So as you can see, just coming back in to the Umezia part of the course. So currently the team working well, the gang pretty much holding together, just very difficult for our beacons just to keep a track of the back of the group because it's so big. Once we go over that 100 rider marker, then this comes in. So yeah, you've got to go for the win. We're just coming onto the climb here. If we take our drone camera down alongside this group, you can just see we're going to ascend up the banking here and head up towards the top. So going to take this right-hand turn. Our drone going to whip around the side of the hillside here and get a little bit of height as we come up over the top. Just watching George Bremer. And remember, we're going to be making our way up on to the terraces, and they are just up above us. That's going to happen pretty steadily. We're just keeping a check on the back of the main pack at the moment. And with so many riders in here at the moment, we do have a rider somewhere. The question is where. So John Gale, Viking Velo, just on the back of that pack. I think Taylor just coming up over the back. And this is what happens when you can only see the nearest 100 riders. When the pack is all together, the nearest riders are all close together. I'm loving the fact everybody thinks it's going to be so hard as they come round at the end of lap number 2. You're not wrong. This is a cracking route that Russ has called here. It's going to be pretty brutal when the trigger is pulled by Russ, when that plunger is pushed. Just going to take a little bit of a run back just so that we can try and run forwards here. So we've got SR68 just making his way up onto that climb. And I think SR68 is the back of this group. I don't think we've got anybody further back on the course at the moment. Miss Cookie is about 4 seconds in front, just coming up into sight at the moment. Tickhill is Mark Tickhill is a little bit further back. I would think Mark's still recovering from something from a pretty nasty bug at the moment. So good to see that we've got Miss Cookie on board. A little bit of a late join, not like her at all. I'm loving the fact that people don't think it looks like one very flat at all. I quite agree. I think it is one of the most misleading names on Zwift, this, because it definitely doesn't feel flat. It does feel wandering, as you can just see SR68 just trying to push here. 2.5 watts per kilo. So I'm loving the fact everybody's saying it's going to be a big effort to catch the kids after this, with Mount Fuji in the background. Not surprised. So Miss Cookie has messaged Neil, by the sounds of it, to let him know that not going to be in there. Flat went for a wander, you're not wrong. So Tickers and Miss Cookie out doing their own thing. SR68 on there now. We're going to take a little bit of a look. Neil just patrolling the back of the bunch, trying to get as many people on to the back here. Just a hole in the group. And as you can see, our riders behind have disappeared off the screen. That is just simply because of the volume of riders on the front. So we can do a little bit of a sneaky one. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't. Looks like today is not a day for trying to drop back. We often use our full speed events avatar as a tool to get back into the game. You can see it never goes anywhere fast. It tends to stay on the back. Just in with Chris Jones. Just chasing onto the back of this group through the streets here. Up in the upper village here. Remember, it's Village Johnson that we go down to. That is the lower village on the way through. And that is our fishing village down the bottom of the climb. And that's where we're going to finish off today. And the virtual banner. Remember, 25.1 plus 0.1 start. Should be we're about 50. The expectation is actually it's 50.25. It's right bang in the middle. So 50.2, 50.3k is where it's going to fall. A little bit going to vary and depend on how people's machines are running as well. So Jones just pushing back in. We're almost basically at the top of this long drag. So Jones going to get in, run it. Just did a nice toe job there. Kai Davis took nicely in the back. And this is going to be about now just squeezing up into the group as they start to make their way in and across. And basically, instead of doing a right-hand turn up on to the climb that we went on Tuesday, we're going to be on our way in. So let's take a quick drone camera in. So this is our chasing group. This is the red beacon group, and it looks like Chris is getting some assistance here from Neil at Gritty. The pair of them just chasing here to make sure they can get back in. So continuing to push on here. They're going to go straight across this T-junction. It's only dirt road left. You're going to go straight on at the next T-junction where there's basically a right-hand turn. And that is the turn that takes you up onto the big climb that we used earlier on. You know, beast of a route on Thursday. I'm going to say now, I didn't choose routes this week, nor have I chosen any of the routes so far actually this year. Russ doing all of our route choosing to date. I stuck my oar in plenty of times last year, don't worry. So the group on its way round. Thursday's route is a complete and utter beast. That is the polite way of putting it. I think Russ must be feeling mean. That's all I can say. Somebody poked the bear last week, and the result is you've got a really tough route on Thursday. I'll let you work out why. But it's going to be a tough one for our riders. Neil and Chris Jones here just working to get back in. You can just see that distance. Number 6 keys. I'll tell you something. When you're the red beacon, you press that number 6 key. You spend your time rolling round. Chris Cannon says he's got a note from his mum for Thursday. You're going to need it because it is an absolute masterpiece of pain. It is going to cause suffering. It is going to be really tough. Someone will enjoy it. Somebody is going to be masochistic enough to enjoy it. I'm not sure who. But it is going to be blooming horrible tomorrow on Thursday. It's really, really, really tough. So our 2 chasing riders, about 7 seconds down on the back of that group. Bramman just holding the back of the pack. We're about to come in and pass those pens. So we're going to just take our little drone up into the air to track our riders around. We'll try and stay tracked in. So you can see the banner approaching. It's that funny big green neon thing, oddly enough, seeing as how we're in Mercury Islands. So the banner coming up, that is the finish line. One more lap to go. When we hit that point, you can see it coming. You can see it for a long way out. This is going to make that finish really, really tricky indeed. And I've got to say, I think this is going to test the riders. So this is 1 lap down, 1 to go. Man on our official lap counter. Calling it there. You can just see Russ's message going up as well, because of course some of our riders can only see the messages from our ride leader and our red beacon. So around those turns they go. 1 lap left to go, and the go-go-go's gone. Russ has called it at 26 minutes of riding. Is that for, no, 41, that's more like it. I was going to say must have been in with a late starter. That is mean. Russ has called that so early. Brilliantly done. He's called an early one. He's done a wolf on them. That is going to tear people apart here. Russ has decided he's calling it early. He's going to really start to break this up. And look at this. It is carnage behind this group. Just going to try and get the helicopter or the drone up so that we can get some kind of view of the damage that's being done behind our leaders here, because this has ripped the group to ribbons. There is nothing left. Look at this. That is going to do some damage. We are 25k from the finish. I repeat that, 25k from the finish. That is a really quality call by Russ. That is what we like to see. Keep everybody on their toes. This is going to do some damage because it's a long call. Look at the top of the screen, and you can see on our map, that was one big blob. It's now one long string. It's breaking up all over the place. Fantastic. This is what we want to see. And it's now about forming groups. Remember, if you have a group, you are going to be able to work together. You will go much quicker. Even Jimmy Allen is like, what the... That has caught a number of people napping here, and the pace is going to be a hot one. Expect these groups to break. Expect the leaders to break up. You can just see it's formed two very distinct packs at the moment. Well, for Gritty Week, Russ has really mixed it up. We love to make people think. We love to make people wonder what they are doing, where they're going to go. We love it when people have to think about their bikes, their routes, their impact on things. At the moment, we're watching Russ in this leading group. The second chase group is working its socks off at the moment. But you know what? It can't get back into the pack. This is about finding a group. Russ has got it exactly right. Find a group and bring it home, because this is going to be a proper tough one. I bet nobody was ready for that. Russ called that and called it early. And you know what? This is going to be very interesting indeed as these riders push onwards here. They really are going to have to work. So you can just see this is still one big pack. This is one of the great things about this course. This is going to be a really interesting ride, because you can see here we're just in with Group 2. They're only about 9 seconds down, but this is a decent sized pack chasing group number 1, and anybody who is ejected from the lead group will find themselves with this pack for company. Then this is group number 3. So group number 3 in here. This has got Daisy Freer in here, which is the rider we're following. Currently 170 beats per minute for Freer. You can just see there's some serious pain being handed out here today. Oh, there are bodies all over the place. What did we say would happen? It was going to go all over. It was going to get blown apart. I think we have Caroline in here. I thought I'd seen her on the way through. She's been hiding in with the group. So Caroline from Gritty on board tonight as well. Caroline, you've chosen a tough one here. And Caroline, of course, one of the great key people for the Gritty team. And the CEO, she's got some serious work to do. She's picked a really good one to join tonight. So Neil is in the red beacon role in the bus. Caroline has got a group with Lone Rider, with Bradley Atkinson in here as well. Trevor Crehan and Ted are doing a 2 up a little bit further back. Wallace and Brabham in here. Caroline says she's got a proper toughie. She has indeed. Find a group and bring it home is the answer, and I think this is going to be very, very interesting. There's plenty of legs being ripped off up here. You can just see these groups are trying to work as hard as they can to try and minimize the damage. The leading group at the moment, I make it about 71 riders strong. It's 71 riders out of the 114 still in the leading group at the moment. So by no means has this been decided. It hasn't whittled it down to 1 or 2 riders. It's still 70 plus riders in that leading group, and we are absolutely motoring. 30k on the clock for our riders, and it's just starting to split again. You just see the group starting to distance riders here. Mike Salkel's going to be in trouble here if he's not careful. Mike has got a squeeze on here. He's really got a push. He's just behind Russ Senior at the moment, and the gaps are opening up. You can see that Bishop and Wallace are in trouble, and Salkel, I think, has just realised that he's going to lose this if he's not careful. They've just hit the dirt. Just seen a few people. Russ Senior just, I think, has pulled in, or is it Dave Main here? Main who's pulled in that steamroller. Langmead is going to be in trouble. I think Langmead is just being distanced. So hard to see. Here they come out of the dust here. So Langmead has to push now to get back in. Mike Salkel saying his legs are done. Come on, Mike. There's always a little bit more. You've got a really good group there. It's about bringing it home. Jump in a group and make this count. Meanwhile, very front of that pack, I think we are seeing a real push on here. We're going to try and roll our way right up to the front, if that is possible. Very difficult to do, actually, today, with the way that call was put in. And looks to me like Kai Davis is leading our group out of the tunnels here. So Kai really working hard here at the moment. So it's Davis leading. He's got a pack. There were 71 riders in that group. It's not a group of 71. Even those smaller roller coasters, when you're on the limit on the run into the tunnels, are enough to shed riders on the way through. Here they come. So the front of this ride here on Gritty Week, we're in week 2. It's ride number 6 of Gritty Week. Remember, of course, 3 Donny Chaingangs a week. Our open Donny Chaingang Mondays and Thursdays. Our WOW DCG, our women only Wednesdays, happening on the WOW DCG is only happening on a Wednesday, oddly enough, because it's women's only Wednesday. So Kai absorbed into the middle of that pack. Rob Farsi up a little bit near the front, and I think people are a little wary of that big hill that is coming up. I'm not going to call it a climb, because it's not really a climb up into the finish, but it is a good size straight. Now, 7 seconds back, here we go. So it's 19 still to go, get the defib ready. You're not wrong. So 54 riders, 50 riders in that pack, do we think? I think it's going to be about that. 49 riders in the leading group at the moment. So in the space of coming out of Umezi and into Neokio, areas of the Mercury Islands, you can see that we have gone from 71 to 48 riders. That 49 riders, that is how much damage has been done. It's 10 seconds back to group number 2 at the moment, or what is left of it. You've got Kerry in no man's land. Keyworth with Stevens. Main then has got a good sized group here. Remember, key here is to grab a group. Pick a group and find it. Get in there, work together. This group is really swollen here, actually. You can see that there's quite a few riders in here at the moment. We're just going to get up in the air with our drone here. So that's going to be about 22, 23 riders in there, and that is the way to ride this. Make sure that you jump in with a group of people who can actually ride at the pace, and I'm going to give you some assistance as well. So let's see who's going to take this out, who is going to take top spot. You can see everybody is working their socks off to stay with the groups at the moment. The front of this, though, is absolutely brutal, and looks to me like Dale Williams is taking a little bit of a flyer here. That group that stayed together, he's gone for one off the front here. Simon Runnett trying to pull this back at the moment. So we're starting to see the attacks come in from the leading group. We're at 51.5 minutes. This is going to be a real long one. It's going to be tough, but as the saying goes, it ain't easy. It's the Donny Chaingang, so this is when it all plays, and you can just see how hard he's making those riders work. It's taking a long time to catch Dale Williams here, and I think Dale hoping to take some sting out of the youngsters' legs. So heading in towards the harbour once again. We're just going to take that right-hand turn on the harbour. Let's give you the map once again. We're in with our yellow beacon group. We're basically at the top left-hand side where you see the big stretch of water coming down. We're about to go around on to the peninsula out into the harbour. So our blue dot is about to get there any second now. And then got to head back round and through Neokio, and then we've got that long climb before the drop down. Remember, that finishes just after the Pens, after the lake. So it is Russ who's going to be leading them in through the pens. It's going to be Neil who is sweeping at the rear of this group. The hills are coming thick and fast when we get in to the upper sections of the Umezi area, but at the moment, as you can see, our leading group of riders nicely together in here and just going sweeping around that bend. Now, who is going to be able to take this out? They've got to keep on working. We've still got a substantial number of riders in this group at the moment. Just take a little bit of a roll back. Try and get up the road or down the road. Here we go. We have got, easier said than done, 48, 50 riders, 49 riders still. 49 riders still. Chris Iredale leading the next group of chasers here. Chris from Velaskin, of course. Velaskin going to be looking after the DCG gang members, as well as being giving them a 20% discount. And that runs all the way through the season for members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. It's got some extra special stuff coming up in January. Looking forward to that. Our group are working well here, but we're up with our leaders once again. Just going to keep a little bit of an eye on the back of this. I think Neil, I used to delay Russ when he wanted to put an early one in, just to make things interesting. Call Harry. I could do, but I won't do. The amount of time and the amount of tech and the amount of hassle and the amount of times it went wrong, we have knocked on the head the common people, believe me. So the gang rolling along well. Haven't been back to our red beacon for a while. Not sure I can. We'll see. The is rolling well. Haven't been back to our red. Let's have a little bit of a look. 4.5 minutes back. So Neil has a bus formed. Here we go. So this is the bus on the road. We've got Chris Jones in there, Caroline Mansfield, Neil Mansfield. We've got Trevor Crehan and Ted on the gang. This is your bus working its way. They're just coming in towards that section. And then Neil Dowd's just in for 34 seconds. 3 more riders. That's Billy No Mates' gang. But the riders are all over the place. So let's see, Neil hopefully going to be picking up anybody who's lost on the way through, which could be quite a few. Really great to see John Bishop in there, Chris Iredale, Chris Group. We're with Jordan Moore at the moment now, back into the leading group. Let's take a check as they come in and through. Anybody looking like they're having a hard time on the back? Taylor is just tucked at the back of this group. So Samuel Taylor we're riding with at the moment, 190 beats per minute. Nobody can tell me that is not working hard. Mr. Wilson, great podium for Steve at the weekend. So Steve on the podium at the North East Cyclocross League. Don't look at yourself on camera, Mr. Wilson. Get your finger out and get up there. Imagine you chasing down somebody in the cross. Man who's come back to racing via the DCG. Great to see him in here, and congratulations on the podium, buddy. Nice choice of kit too, actually. It's nice to sort that, like it. So 51 seconds clear of Iredale and Co. However, the leading gang are pushing on. I think Jesus in trouble here as well. He's about to go backwards out of this group. Let's have a little look. Yep, that's it. Leg's gone. He's gone, Bob. I think that is likely to be the story of the day. 47, 48 riders, I suspect, in this group. 47, 46 riders. Just doing a little bit of a recap. 47 in here. Super quick day today. A very early call from Russ, literally at 1 lap to go. He's ripped it early, he's pulled the cord, and now it's about staying in there. Isaac Oliver in that leading group at the moment. Another youngster to watch out for. So I'm going to try and give you a rundown on the leading group. You have to forgive me if I miss anybody out. Keith Richardson, Tom Rollett, John Forey, Gareth License, Pete Drabble, Dale Williams in there, Russell Osmond, Eddie Dench, Greg Pillsworth, Ian Bale, Nick McDermott, Benjamin Harmer, Richie Woodall, John Forey, Paul Simonite, Jimmy Allen, Tom Crapper, Pete Drabble. Got Neil Morn in there, Will Jones, Rollick, Tom Lindley, her birthday boy in there, Tom Lindley, George Cooper, Russell Osman we've already covered, Mick Clark, Russ Downey, Dale Williams, Kai Davis in here. Oh yeah, don't forget Harry Hudson and Rob Varsity, two people who we know are going to be capable of ripping it up. A real who's who in the front group. So let's see as these riders roll backwards. Let's see how they go as they get picked up by the groups behind me. This is our leading group. It keeps on getting whittled down rider by rider. Last rider to go, Mr. Wilson still pushing on. He's ahead of Callaway, Gale, more and more. Tukey, Hamilton's in leading the next group. Look at the size of this group. This is a serious sized pack. We're going to just try and drop in with the drone because we're going to get our helicopter up over the top. Look at the size of that pack. So the pack dynamics work on this course. It's about finding yourself a group and getting home in a group. Fantastic work being done here by these riders as they continue to push, but the leaders in here, and looks to me like Phil Oliver's gone on a little bit of a flyer going in here. It's going to take a little bit of a check. So Oliver on the front now, eases off or gets a drop out. He's going to be dropped out of this group at about 100 miles an hour if he's not careful. So you can see disappearing off backwards. It's going to be Oliver. The group continues to come down. 46 riders now in that group as they come around these turns. You can just see Matt Nunn down near the back here. You've got Fairley Hudson in as well. We're in with Chris Gale. West is in here. Alexander's in here. Kooslugs rolling strongly in this group as well. And his characteristic trademark hat on. Looking good as he works on the inside of that group. Sadler's in here. But this is the leading group, and I think we're going to see this group start to split once again as they come in through onto the climb. Remember, they've got to exit Neokyo, make their way out to Umezi in the Mercury Islands. It's a brutal day at the office at the moment. Well, still this group doesn't want to lose too many people. The next group back, well, they're working hard, but they've got a bit of distance to make up here. They're about 42 seconds clear of the group behind. This is our big chasing group number 3 on the road. I think if my maths is correct, always a dodgy thing to think about, my maths, but there you go. And this is group 3, nice big pack, just making the way out through town at the moment. and got some real names in here. Rob Whibble in here, Stevens, Garfoot, Hawes in here, McLeod's in this, Bramham, Baggs, Stedman, Main, Catlin, Langley, Davis, the real who's who of riders. Great to see just how well everybody's working at the moment. As you can see, coming out from the tunnels, the man who has the gap, it's fractional at the moment. It is Hudson on the attack. He took advantage, was just dropping back in the dust, coming to put an attacking. Nice move there to try and go clear in the dust and dirt. The message board exceptionally quiet, oddly enough. So look at this, Hudson still with lead. They're just leaving him hanging there, aren't they? You can just see that pat behind. Yeah, leave him there. He's in sight. He's working his socks off. Let him burn some of this youthful exuberance off. Well, Hudson definitely not on the limit here. 181 beats per minute. He's been caught, I think, being pulled back a little here by Finley Hudson, who's just gone on to his heels, seen the gap, gone up there. Are we going to see a classic counter-attack? I doubt it, surely. The two Hudson brothers leading this out. Finley, then Harry. As over the top comes Vin Donahoe. You see Vin back on the sharp end once again. Russ coming through, Forrester coming through, but it's Vin who's leading out at the moment. Just goes over, keeps the pace really hot at nearly 5 watts per kilo. Nobody being given any respite here at all. No, I was just looking at the back of that pack to see if there was any signs of weakness in anybody. Nobody really looking like they're struggling too much. Very well controlled here. I think if you've got the pace and power to make it this far, odds are you've actually got plenty of pace and power to handle pretty much all of the attacks, all of the moves that have a habit of going off the front. Another push coming on the front though. He's going to try and take a run up. I think it's going to be Evans who's just gone over the top. Kai Davis is up there. Interestingly, Evans using up a feather on that section. Got to surely be wanting something else as he goes through. Davis, Drabble, Osman. The gap starting to open a little bit behind Russ, I think, at the moment. So Harmer and Co at the moment, just with a little bit of work to do. You can just see this big group of 40 plus have been damaged. Well, that attack by Hudson has done damage, but we are now going up on to the climb here, and you can just see Kai Davis is the rider who's put in the attack here. This is on the climb up at the moment. And at the moment, it is Davis who's got that little bit of a gap. And look at the damage that's being done. I mean, we saw it being ripped apart earlier on. And this is just the start of that climb up towards the section at the top. They are now in ones and twos. We have a group of about 8 riders chasing. And that is about it. It was 70, it was 45, 50 when we came out. The attack by Hudson started to string things out. Now it is Davis, Drabble and Jones with Oliver, Williams, Hudson and Cooper immediately behind. Over the top goes Drabble in the blue kit there. This is a real big push. Davis having to do nearly 10 watts per kilo to stay on the wheel of Drabble here, and these are our 2 leaders. Look at the damage that's been done. I mean, there are people all over the course here. It was an early call by Russ. The bear, well, somebody had poked him earlier in the week, and do you know what? He's really started to pull the pin very, very early there. He can see bodies were being shed from very early on, even though we have big numbers. But it is Drabble at the moment who is leading this out. Then Davis, then Jones, Oliver, Williams, Hudson being followed up by the team behind. Wow, I'll tell you something, Kai Davis, Pete Drabble, along with Will Jones. That is a cracking threesome, but Jones, I think, has opted for discretion here. So we have two leaders. We've got Kai Davis and Pete Drabble. Then 3 seconds back to Jones. Then it's going to be best part of 4 seconds back now to Cooper, Lindley, Oliver in here. Hudson is in this pack. Looks like Williams has made this spot as well. That's a dangerous move for everybody else. We know Williams has got a fantastic kick on him. 9-10 seconds down is going to be Jimmy Allen. It's going to be Russ down in Varty. I think realising he's missed the boat. This is the chasing group, but our leaders are 2 riders strong at the moment. So Kai Davis leading this out. Then it's going to be Pete Drabble immediately behind him. So Davis, Drabble, then 11 seconds down. George Cooper, Isaac Oliver, Harry Hudson, Tom Lindley, Will Jones, Dale Williams. Then a further 12 seconds back, you've got Osman, Mason the Fat Cyclist, Russ R. Beacon, you've got Dan Evans, you've got Paul Simonite chasing that group. I think that group does have Jimmy Allen in just in front. Let's see. Let me recover before you go. You pulled the pin, Sunshine. I don't know. And Dench, Bale. Then it's Runnett and West. Then it's going to be Taylor, Rollitt, Harmer, Hudson. Another big group behind. We're talking 24 riders down here. The leaders looking strong at the moment. 9 seconds now between Drabble and Davis back to the chasing group. And that is Cooper, Lindley, Oliver and Hudson. Remember, they've got to make their way out to the lake and then take the turn, come down past the section where the pens were. And this is going to be really interesting to see, because this group here, this is the chasing group. This is group 2. Russ is in group number 3. Group 2 chasing the duo off the front. The duo off the front, 5 seconds for Davis and for Drabble, and I think they're coming back. They are coming back. In fact, look at that. This is showing a really, really interesting. It is going to be a group that forms here. Now, this is going to give big advantage to this group. They're going to gain Davis and Drabble, who we know are strong. They've already gone clear. They've got Tom Lindley, the birthday boy, in there. Well, in cycling, we reckon that you're strongest on your birthday. You get extra speed, extra strength. Will it be his day today? Is Lindley going to get himself the best present, or will he not have enough oomph to blow out the birthday candles after? Well, we're going to see if he's going to be able to do that. 24 seconds to Mason's group here. It looks like Mason, Osmond, Downing, Allen, Evans and Varty and Co-Crap are not going to have the firepower to close this down. It's 22 seconds to this leading group, and this is going to be really interesting. So Cooper on the front in the Downing cycling kit, the red and grey of Kai Davis. Lindley in his traditional orange. And if we just pull up, so you can see it's Davis on the front now. Cooper goes over the top. Then it is going to be Isaac Oliver in that Neokio purple kit with the pink Tron bike. Drabble on the right-hand side with that white band across his back. You can see Harry Hudson all in the black with the blue Tron bike. In the black without the Tron bike is Will Jones. You've also got the old fellow of this group, and that is going to be Williams. So Dale Williams, not often we get to say this about Dale, but there you go. Dale right on the back of this group, and remember, we are coming into the turn. If you take a look at that map, we go around this turn here, and then we're going to head back towards the pens. This is going to be about who has got the speed, who's got the power. Well, the man we're going to start to follow is going to be Hudson, and that is because he's the rider who has won so many lately. He's the rider on form. The question is, has he got enough to get clear here? So in with Hudson. Now goes the kick from Hudson. So Hudson's put a kick in. He's gone early here. He's a master of surprise. You can just see that green gantry glowing in the background. He's got a second. He's got two. They can't afford to be tactical here. This is a man who you cannot let go at any stage of the game. They're chasing back behind at 25 seconds back. They don't need to worry about them. They need to worry about where is the gantry. It's inside. There are a few twists and turns, and I think Hudson is going to have his legs well and truly taken out from under him here, because over the top Williams has gone. But look at this. He's got Drabble on his heels. This is going to get really, really close. They're side by side. They're going to come round the corner. But it's going to be Drabble who's going to take it. It's Drabble who goes through. Then it's going to be Williams. Then it's Davis, Lindley, Oliver, Jones. It's going to then be Cooper. Hudson got shelled out of that after a great attack. Now this is going to be about that final kick for the line. Has Russ got anything left in the tank? I'm not sure he has. Varty's going to come over the top. Has Crapper going to have it? Oh, so tight. Varty gets it from that little group. I think there's some very, very dead legs now. This is our next pack, our next group coming in. License is leading this out, and I think Gary License is likely to get this. The question is, has he gone too early? It's really deceptive. He takes it, just gets that from Paul Simonite. Followed by Ian Bale, a Dench West, and Run It. Next group coming in for the sprint here. They're going to be led out by Finley Hudson. Will Finley have the power to roll it all the way to the line? I think he is. It's going to get close. That's going to go to Sharp. I think he had the momentum. Did he have enough? Well, that's going to go to a playback. We'll let those two discuss it on Facebook. Next up, going to be Rollis group coming in and through. We're going to just try and drop back a little bit here. Whew. Good course. Very early call. Very, very tough for these riders. Who has got the pace in the legs? Has got anything left here? You can just see Vandergate has gone. He's gone, but he's not got enough to answer Kooslugs, who went first there and through that gap. So our next pack coming in, I'm going to just try and run up to the front of the group. Vinder, we've got McCarthy coming in. We've got Davison, probably the next rider who's going to hit the line. McDermott has gone through. So apologies if we do miss you on the way through. Very tricky to get back for absolutely everybody here. Fingers moving as fast as possible, but not always able to do it. So it's going to be Davidson, who's going to be our next rider through. Then it's going to be Phil Oliver. He's going to come through ahead of Morn. So a big gap back, in fact, to Morn, Hager, Chris Iredale, John Moore, and Co. What a finish there today. Very tough day at the office. A long ride today as well. Took a while to get the group together, and I think people then paid the price for that, because Russ having to make that call, a very tough call to make, but I absolutely love it. Always good when Russ calls it nice and early. So Haggard chasing Morn, then it's going to be Iredale ahead of a Moore, then Ian from the Stoton with Gale, Moore, Wilson, Tukey, Van der Rij and Co. But I think at the moment, Morn is going to be our next rider who's going to get a decent sight, and the gantry just coming into sight just underneath Mount Fuji there. So behind the groups working together, trying to eliminate the solo riders. Hager chasing on to Morn. Morn's going to come around this turn. It's very deceptive as these riders come in. So going to be Neil Morn comes in and through for the start on, being chased by Tom Hager. I got to say, that was a fantastic finish here today, and still our riders continue to make their way in towards the line here. So Hager goes in and through, being followed now by Chris Iredale. Chris with a little bit of a gap to the chasers behind Chris, of course, part of the squad from Velaskin. He's doing a good lead out here, and the youngsters have gone for him. They knew when that was coming, so it's going to be Matt Gilmore Another of our youngsters has done a great job here. Then Wilson and Tukey Raccoon. More Tracy Seeley coming in and through there. So Seeley doing another great job of staying in with that gap, that gang. And then just taking a look at Van Ryan, John and Moore. I think Hamilton coming in and through. Malin going in and through. We're just going to try and drop our way back to our next group. Bags in as well. Johnny Two Dogs, John Garford here. So this is going to be our next group. Who's got the power? Johnny's trying to open it up here. Eastman's going hard at 14 watts per kilo. Garford's alongside him. Eastman gets it. Then it's Garford followed by McLardy, Rabem, Johnny Two Dogs. Daisy Freer comes in through. Just ahead of Catlin and Stedman and Co chasing this down. Lots of riders having to chase, looks like Coleman, Stedman and Rob Wimble going through. So great to see these groups all working together well. Well, I think there's going to be a little bit of a surprise sprung by Andy Hawes. He's gone long. He caught them napping. He's gone over the top of them here. And Andy Hawes is going to take this. He's going to be able to roll in, I think, clear of Wallace and Caldwell. Nicely done, Andy. Great ride. Don't forget, if you're one of our male riders, one of the men, then Andy's on the Startum ride tomorrow. If you're one of our women, it is Wow DCG Women Only Wednesday. Got amazing beakers. It's the one and only, the legendary and lifetime Sammy Stewart leading out the ride. So Sammy Stewart is going to be leading the Wow DCG as Owen Davis makes his way in and through, followed by Chris Canham, Wharfdale Phil and Stevens. Senior goes over the line just ahead of Grant, who's got Main and Canham behind. So some great beacons tomorrow. It's going to be a fantastic ride tomorrow. Looking forward to that. They're on the Latus Express, doing 5 laps of that. So it's going to be a real quick ride tomorrow, I think, on the way through. And going to be looking forward to seeing our riders do that. So Grant in and through. Job done for Grant. Time to warm down. Next in is going to be Main. So Doug doing his last few pedal strokes on his way in here. Doug, we're going to try and get, there we go, back to, as you go over the line. Cannon's going to come through immediately behind. Then a little bit of a gap back to Ben Cokin, who's got a gap to Atkinson, Billy No Mates, Lone Rider, Chris Ball in this little pack here, chasing Atkinson, who's just down the road. But all of them left chasing Cokin. Cokin, who can now see that gantry coming into sight. And there's Jones, Neil from Gritty with Caroline. I think the group here on their way in and through. We'll get a bit of a recap when we get a bit closer to the line here on the Donny Chaingang. So don't forget, tomorrow is Women Only Wednesday. It's going to be Sammy Stewart, Cams Basso leading the group out. Looking forward to seeing how she goes on the ride. Joe Munden. Joe, of course, a national mountain bike champion, regular on road scene. And Joe going to be doing our red beacon as Ben Cokin goes in and through. Well done, Ben. So Ben, another cracking job done by him with the gantry in the distance. It's going to be our sprint in here. This is going to be between Atkinson and Billy No Mates. It's going to be tight here. Has Atkinson gone too early? He's buried himself for that gantry. He just goes in and through ahead of Billy No Mates there. Then it's going to be the sprint. Oh, are they going to sprint? That's the finish, lads. Oh, a little squeeze there by Lone Rider. This is sort of 4.6 watts per kilo, just ahead of Chris Ball. Really interested to see that taking place. So then it's going to be Chris Jones, Caroline and Neil Mansfield out on course. So as Jones makes his way in over the top here, we're going to have a chance just to drop across. Now, don't forget, guys, we have Women Only Wednesday coming up. Thursday, no broadcast. Going to be stuck on an aeroplane. Might have landed by the time that the show starts. No guarantees on that one going from Manchester Airport, let's face it. So no show on Thursday. Going to have the riders normal. Please do make sure you go and join that. And remember, our beacons are going to have their work cut out because they're not going to have the advantage of being able to watch the screen simultaneously. We also have, of course, Gritty Rise all on next week on the Donny Chaingang. And just a quick reminder, there'll be no broadcast next week unless a minor miracle happens on the way through, which I very much doubt it will. We're going to be heading out to the continent on another little project we've got going on at Full Speed Events. We've got to pay the bill somehow. And once that is done and dusted, then we'll be back on with the Chaingang the week after. So this weekend we've got Abu Dhabi. I'm going to be covering Abu Dhabi for the trials and the BMX Flatland and the Park World Championships. We're also going to be broadcasting and we're covering the esports cycling. That comes out every Sunday. Make sure you jump onto our social media feeds. That's at Biking Emma or at Matt Fix the Pain to get a hold of us on there. Don't forget, of course, if you want to get a hold of us at the moment, far easiest way to do that is to get hold of us using social media, quite simply because our emails are pretty much down. I have an emergency email running, but please guys, get in touch on social media and we'll let you know what that email is if you need to get hold of us. Another quick little reminder on the way through. Please do remember, guys, that we are reliant on our beacons, our red and yellow beacons, as well as the members of the DCG gang to keep the show on the road and to encourage our members to join the DCG gang to donate. We got to say a massive thank you to the team up here. 1080 for Oakley, Fox, all that kit, best shades in the business. To OTE, keeping everybody fueled, refreshed, hydrated, recovering on time. Thank you so much to Annie and all of the team there. A big thank you to Continental, keeping everybody rubber side down, and Halo for the best wheels in the business. Of course, Fella Skin, keeping everybody sat comfortably in the saddle, super smooth, and unlike my sandpaper, a little bit smoother and quicker and more aerodynamic, as well as the interface between you and your chamois cream. And of course, a massive thank you to the team at Nonnas. Big thank you to Stefano for looking after his 21st birthday in the family. And that was on last Thursday. Went there on Friday. A brilliant research. Lovely to see him in there and to see everybody being looked after. And of course to Gritty, who have looked after our riders here. You can see it is Gritty a week. You can see that up on the top of the screen. Neil and Caroline going to be rolling our bus in at the back of the gang. And don't forget, of course, you can pick up the Crosscast from Crosscast Neil. The latest episode is out. It's got loads of details in there. So through goes Jones. So that is going to be Chris Jones. Job done. Done and dusted in and through the line. And that leaves us the CEO of Gritty, the boss. That is Caroline, on her way into the line here. And Caroline rolling in 91 revs per minute, keeping it nice and smooth. Just ahead of our red beacon. Neil with a tough day at the office, particularly with a go that was called at half distance today. But amazing job done by Neil. And a massive thank you to Neil and Caroline for supporting the gang. They've been with us since the start of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. And that is really important to have that support. So a big thank you to Neil and to Caroline. And of course to Neil for being our red beacon. Don't forget we've got the WOW DCG tomorrow. Next Donny Chaingang is on Thursday. We'll be back again next week with the Donny Chaingang and the WOW DCG. The DCG on Tuesday, Thursday, the WOW DCG on the Wednesday. You can catch up with me. Next time you can do that, that is going to be on the UCI feed, and it is going out worldwide on various streaming platforms as well as domestic broadcasters. So keep an eye on the social media feeds. We're going to be bringing the World Championships to you over the weekend. You can catch up with Emma. She's going to be broadcasting for Full Speed Events on the Sunday Race Club feed that goes out. Make sure you follow her at Biking Emma. Don't forget, of course, all next week we've got Donny Chaingangs rolling. No broadcasting at all during the week next week. And that means that we will be back the week after. And that is going to be on our Sunday Race Club, followed by the Donny Chaingang the week after. And in theory, you'll find it's coming from somewhere different than these studios. Fingers crossed if it works and everything is nailed. It should do. It's all we've got planned to do basically. But the next project for Full Speed Events is out there. So thank you very much for the support so far. Make sure you support the people who support the Chain Gang. They're up there. Look after them. They are not big, nameless, faceless internet giants. They are all family firms, sort of basically OT One Big Family, 1080, headed up by Ian. You've got, of course, Continental with Shelley and Jeff here. You've got Halo with Josh Mayland, who writes. Andy Banks and Chris Idell, who write from Fellaskin. Nonas, of course, Maurizio and Stefano are riding gritty well, of course, Caroline and Neil on the screens coming through to the end of their ride as our beacons. Literally, these guys live, breathe, ride and support the gang, so a massive thank you to them. From me, Matt Payne, from Russ, from Neil, from Caroline, from all of our beacons. Hope to see you again tomorrow for the WOW DCG. Stay safe. We'll see you again soon.